This is quite a triggering actually, because a lot of people are not going to like this. If all women decided today we're going to stop having kids, all population would just grind to a halt and start declining immediately. This video is for all women who at one point they didn't know their worth, at one point they struggled to say no, at one point they struggled to set boundaries, at one point they didn't know what their purpose was. This video is for you. This was me as well. At one point in my life, I didn't know what my purpose was. I didn't know how to say no. I did not know how to set boundaries. I didn't know how to really stand in my power as a woman. Hello, my beautiful people, my beautiful souls. How are you doing today? Hope you're having a purposeful and wonderful day today. I'm sending you lots of love and peace. So today I'm talking about a topic that I haven't yet spoken about on my channel today, which is DNA gatekeeping. Being a DNA gatekeeper. This is what DNA gatekeeping is all about. Stepping into your power as a woman, deciding that you're going to be a woman of power, but deciding that you're going to remember where your true power comes from, that comes from within. So let's get into it. I'm going to explain the concept of DNA gatekeeping so you can understand it more, and then we're going to get into how we can be DNA gatekeepers, and then why we should be DNA gatekeepers, and then at the end I'm going to do a meditation. So we're going to step into the identity of becoming a DNA gatekeeper. So I'm going to use my trusty whiteboard so that we can analyze what exactly a DNA gatekeeper is. Before I do that, I just want to say that us as women, we have such power. We are the portal, we are the gate, we are the opening from the spiritual world into the physical world. We are the channels through which life is born. This is why we're DNA gatekeepers. If all women decided today we're going to stop having kids, the population would decrease in its number. All population would just grind to a halt and start declining immediately. So we as women have this power where if we're responsible for life, we're responsible for the perpetuation of life. And this is what DNA gatekeeping is about. We are the ones who perpetuate DNA from one generation to the next. And we need to be DNA gatekeepers to stand at the gate and ensure that the right DNA is being passed on, that the best DNA is being passed on, that we ensure that the next generation has the best possible resources that they could ever have, because we are making conscious and brilliant decisions. Being a DNA gatekeeper is basically all about making brilliant decisions in your day-to-day life and ensuring that you're learning the lessons from other people's mistakes, learning the lessons from everyone around you, and making better decisions each day. These are the things that I did not know. I grew up in an environment where I grew up in a church environment. So I went to church almost every single Sunday, and I was told, don't have sex before marriage. I was told, make sure that you wait till you find the right man to have sex and things like that, which again, this is the right thing to do. But I didn't understand how to actually do this. And this is why I ended up falling into situations where I wasn't able to, protect myself and things like that. So this is a gift to you as a woman on how you can actually step into the person who you can stand and be the DNA gatekeeper and protect yourself, protect your womb, protect the future generations that are going to come from your womb. I ended up having a child outside of wedlock because I did not know how to be a DNA gatekeeper. So I want every woman to understand how to be a DNA gatekeeper so that they can step into the woman who can make sure the next generation is best set up to have the best in life and have everything they want in life. So I'm gonna create this analogy for you so you can understand this deeper. So I'm basically going to draw a gate. I'm going to draw a cute little pretty gate because this gate is a feminine gate. It's a woman gate. Okay, so this is my gate. As you can see, we have a gate here. And behind the gate is DNA. Behind the gate is DNA. And I'll use another colour for this so we can really understand this better. At the front of the gate, there's going to be a DNA Gatekeeper. So this is the DNA Gatekeeper at the front of the gate. So this is the responsibility that we have as women, is basically to be the DNA Gatekeeper. We as women are the gate. We are the gate through which life comes to this earth. We are the gate through which things are born. We have our womb power, we have our creative power that brings forth life. And that's the gate that brings DNA into existence. So new DNA is as a result of getting through the gate of the woman to create new DNA. You have to obviously go through that, the act of, intercourse, and then you create DNA, and the DNA is now passed down to the next generation. So we as women are the gate. We have to open our gate, and that allows DNA to come into fruition and allows DNA to come into the earth. So our role as women is to be DNA gatekeepers. We're meant to stand at the gate. We are the gate as women, but we also need to be the DNA gatekeepers. So we are the gate and the gatekeepers of DNA. Let's sit with that for a bit and just ponder that. We are the gate and the gatekeepers. This is what I didn't realize. I knew that obviously women, we're the ones who bring forth life into the world. We bring forth life into the world as women. But I didn't know that, okay, yes, I bring forth life into the world. Through me, new DNA is brought into the world. But I didn't realize I needed to be a DNA gatekeeper as well, that I needed to stand at the gate and ensure that the next DNA that comes into this earth is the best possible DNA that can ever be. Make sure that the person that you mate with has emotional security, emotional safety, financial stability, all these things. You need to set the DNA up, the next DNA up, for the best possible environment. This is the role as women. And a lot of women don't quite know this. I did not know this. I knew that, okay, in the church it says don't have sex before marriage. But how to do this, the mindset you need, and the mindset is being a DNA gatekeeper. Standing at the gate of your womb. So the gate as women is our womb. We have to stand at the gate and ensure that people don't just get in. When there's no gatekeeper, it's easy for anyone to open the gate and get in. There's nothing securing the gate shut. There's nothing standing there that blocks anything from getting in and out. This links to a Bible verse in the Bible, Songs of Songs, chapter 8. It says, women should have a silver tower around us and not be a swinging door. This links to DNA gatekeeping, because if you have a silver tower around you, you have a gate around you, and naturally, because it's a silver tower, people can't get in. So it's the same as having a gatekeeper at your gate. This is how we need to see ourselves as women. We are the gate through which life is born. Because we are the gate through which life is born, we need to be the gatekeepers. So I'm going to write this down as well. So the gate is all women. So all women are the gate. I think it's backwards, but you get the hang. All women are gates. But not all women have decided to be gatekeepers. All women are gates, but not all women understand that they need to be gatekeepers. This is the switch. This is the mindset switch. When you realize that, of course, all women have gates, but not all women have this gatekeeper here. Sometimes the gatekeeper doesn't exist. Anybody can get in, anybody can just take advantage of you, anybody can, get you pregnant, anybody can benefit from your sexual energy. Anyone can do this. But when you decide that you're going to have a gatekeeper involved, Now there's a barrier here. Now there's a block here. Now you have no choice but to absolutely be this woman. So gatekeeping has normally been seen as something that's quite bad, that people don't want to gatekeep. When it comes to your skincare routine, when it comes to your hair care routine, when it comes to your makeup, these things don't need to be gatekept. But when it comes to your womb, when it comes to perpetuating generations from one person to the next, when it comes to who you allow to come into your life and to access your sexual energy, you need a gatekeeper. Women need gatekeepers. This is what I didn't realize. And when you can embody this identity of I am a DNA gatekeeping woman, it basically means I am comfortable saying no. I'm comfortable setting boundaries. I'm comfortable deciding that no matter what, it's going to be okay. So the concept of being a DNA gatekeeper, being this woman here, it's just about deciding that you're going to protect your sexual energy, protect your womb, and make sure you put yourself and your future generations in the best possible position to have the best in life. That's essentially what it is. Women, for years, for centuries, have been so conditioned to just outsource their power. If a man wants you to have kids, you just have kids. If a man wants you to do this, you just do that. Which is okay if that is somebody you value and you are happy with them making decisions for you. But sometimes women have fallen into traps where they make decisions based on somebody else, and then that's not the decision they really truly wanted to make. So we need boundaries. We need the strength to say no. We need to be okay with saying, I don't want to do that. You need to know exactly what you want in life. DNA gatekeeping gives you the time to figure out what you want to do with your life. For me, I had my child when I was 27. I did have an idea of what I wanted to do with my life. I did have an idea, but not to the level to which I do now. And yes, everybody comes to this at different times. But when you step into the identity of being a DNA gatekeeper, it basically gives you the opportunity to say, okay, what do I want from my life? How do I best want to serve my life? How do I want to ensure that I am happy, healthy, thriving, and bringing the best to this world? The best way you can do that is by being a DNA gatekeeper. Another thing about DNA gatekeeping is, first, it's an identity. It's an identity, and it's also a energetic boundary. This is not something you have to be saying to people. You don't have to tell people that you're a DNA gatekeeper. You just have to embody it. Decide that you're going to protect your womb. Decide you're going to protect your sexual energy. But decide you're going to guard that for the best person that God has for you. The person who God wants you to be with is the person who you allow to eventually have access to this gate. This is also how I see DNA gatekeeping. I see it as women are the gate. Women are also the DNA gatekeepers. But women aren't completely the only DNA gatekeepers. As women, we have a responsibility to ensure that we protect our gate, of course. In the physical world, we have physical responsibilities. We make sure that maybe we're not in the wrong place at the wrong time, where we make ourselves available to people who could take advantage. We do our best to dress in a way that is very appropriate. We do our best to be in the right environments that aren't going to, make this DNA gatekeeper in danger of protecting the gate. There's levels to protecting the gate, which involves stepping into the identity where you are in the right place at the right time. There's that aspect as well. There's also the aspect of the spiritual. So this DNA gatekeeper is not just you. There's also God, who's also your DNA gatekeeper. So I've drawn another DNA gatekeeper, so we can understand that one of the DNA gatekeepers will be you. The second one will be God. And this is a very important aspect because we can't do everything ourselves in this life. We can't. We think maybe we have the strength to protect our womb, to protect everything. We think we can really be DNA gatekeepers, and we can do our best in the physical world. We can make sure in the right place, the right time, protect ourselves. We can make sure we're informed. We look around, we observe our environment, we learn from other people's experiences, we go on to make better decisions. This is where this DNA gatekeeper stands. Obviously, this is not all women understand they even need to be in this position, but once you know that this is your role, you can now step into this aspect. But we understand that we can't do everything, and there is a world beyond the physical, there is the spiritual. And when we step into the spiritual world, we understand that it's not just us, God is with us. So I drew God here. Obviously, God is not really a physical entity, he is a spiritual entity. But this is just a physical representation for now, just so we can understand the analogy. Obviously, God is not something we can physically and visually quantify, because he is like the quantum field. He just exists everywhere all at once. So we also have a DNA gatekeeper. If we want to tie ourselves to this DNA gatekeeper, which is God, we also have a DNA gatekeeper who is with us all the time, who is always protecting us, who's always with us. And this can help us to relax. Because if you want to be a DNA gatekeeper and protect your gate and protect your womb and ensure the right DNA is being passed on from one generation to the next, sometimes it's a lot of work. We're kind of, in the masculine, trying to protect ourselves, being on guard. And that's not fun, is it? That's no fun. Who wants to be on guard all day? Not me. I want to be relaxed. I want to feel happy. I want to feel like I'm being taken care of, which I am, and also you are. We are being taken care of. Our womb is being taken care of. Our gate is being taken care of. Our portal is being taken care of. So when we remember that our portal is being taken care of, our womb is being taken care of, this opening into the perpetuation of DNA and generations is being taken care of by a higher power, by God. We can do our best as DNA gatekeepers and leave the rest to God. We know our gate is protected. We know the DNA behind us is protected. We know that everything is working out. We relax and know that things are still working out for the highest good. For example, me, I had a child outside of wedlock. I had not established my gate. At that time, there was no gatekeeper here, but this gatekeeper was still here. And that makes me feel so happy, and it should make you feel so happy as well, knowing that sometimes we haven't yet stepped into this woman of DNA gatekeeping. We haven't yet, we don't, first of all, sometimes we don't even know we have a gate that we need to protect. Never mind being the actual gatekeeper, stepping into that identity of being the DNA gatekeeper. So we don't even know this first. Sometimes when we don't know this, there is still a DNA gatekeeper protecting us, which is God. But now we're stepping into our own responsibility as women as well to do our part, to co-create with the God that we have on this planet. We procreate with him. We co-create with God. And this allows us to absolutely know that our DNA is being protected, to know that our gate is being protected, when it's not just us doing it. We can never do anything alone in this life. And this is not to say that we're not capable. It's just to say that why would we want to anyway? We know we have a God who is bigger, better, amazing, has the potential to do so many beautiful things for us. So we don't need to stress. Like, for example, me having my child outside of wedlock, me not knowing I need to be a DNA gatekeeper, me not knowing I had a gate that I needed to even protect. I allowed a child to come through. I allowed the DNA to perpetuate. It came forth. I have a beautiful son. And I'm so proud and happy with that because God was still protecting me. But at that time, that DNA had to come forth for a reason. I know my son has an amazing purpose that he's going to fulfill on this planet. So that's also another part of this. If we have not yet understood that we need to be DNA gatekeepers, there is still a DNA gatekeeper that exists in our life, doing the best to help us. But sometimes we have to learn a few lessons so that we can also start co-creating with God and step into our own responsibility. Because we do have responsibility as women. And when we forget that we stand here, we sometimes God allows things to happen so we can remember this and step into her. But he never went away. God never went away. God was always there. When I had my child outside of wedlock, when I didn't even know that I needed to be a DNA gatekeeper, God was there. God protected me. God was with me. God allowed it to happen so I could learn this and share this with you. So that other women can learn this too. So that we can all have peace knowing that we can step in, but even if we haven't yet stepped in, it's still okay. God is with us. God is always here. But now that we are stepping in, we join hands with God. As you can see, it's kind of like they're holding hands now. And we co-create with God to create the ultimate gatekeeper, which is half spiritual, half physical. We do our part on this earth because we need to. We can't leave everything to God because God, yes, he will do a lot for us. He is the infinite. He is the most powerful. He's the one. He is for us. And when God is for us, no one is against us. But God knows that if God created us for a purpose, and we need to actually exercise it. We can't just leave everything to God. So we have to remember we have to co-create with God. We hold hands with God for this DNA gate. So let me bring some examples in to help us to step into the identity of DNA Gatekeeper. Before you're a DNA Gatekeeper, you may go to the club, you may go to parties, and you have a few drinks, you end up in a situation that may not be desirable. This is before you have a DNA Gatekeeper. But God still protects you in those moments. God still ensures that you don't end up in the wrong hands. God is still watching out for you. But sometimes there comes a time where something happens. You're in the wrong place at the wrong time. Someone tries to take advantage. Someone comes through because this person is not yet here. This person is not yet here. And because this person is not yet here, God's like, there's only so much I can do. Well, no, God can do everything, but sometimes God allows these things to happen because he wants us to build this. He needs us to build. He needs us to establish the person he needs us to be on this planet to carry out his mission. So things can happen to us in our lives, like me having my child outside of wedlock. So I can create this person, which now that this person has become, we have stepped into the woman who now can be more, who now realizes her power, that is co-creating with God, who realizes who she is. Now, God and this new evolved person can do wonders. She stepped in. She has become the one. And because she's become the one, now this partnership can go to the moon. So we always have a DNA gatekeeper. We always do. But we sometimes have experiences that that God allows so that we can step into the best aspect of this person too. And it's a beautiful thing to remember. God is always with us, but we need to establish a DNA gatekeeper for ourselves. So let's go back to the other scenario that we were talking about earlier. When we establish our own DNA gatekeeper, we could still go to the club, we could still go to the bar, not that we would want to, once you really establish who this person is and who this person wants to be in God. But because you have those strong internal boundaries, those strong internal values, you now hold yourself in all environments. And if you're a person who can stand in all environments, now God can use you for more. But again, once you really truly step into the DNA Gatekeeper, you make sure you're in the right place at the right time. You're not really going to go to the club. You're not really going to go to places that put you in an environment that makes you more open to people taking advantage of this. Because sometimes you and God are together, but there are all other forces coming. There are the other forces that are very powerful. So God needs us to work with him. This is what God needs. So I empower us all as women to be DNA gatekeepers. The women who remember their worth, remember their power, remember who they are, remember who God put them on this earth to be. God wants to do something in the generations to come. He wants to do something so powerful. He needs to build up DNA gatekeepers so that the generations that are coming after us are about to be amazing. They already are. We know it. But as women are the portal, women are the gate. We bring forth life. God wants to work with us to ensure that we are bringing forth better life into the future generations. This is our role. This is our responsibility. This is the purpose that we have as women. To be DNA gatekeepers with God as well as the world is moving forward. It's a powerful place to be. It's an empowering place to be. When we know that we're not really doing anything alone, but we still have our role to play. We're never really doing anything alone, but we still have our role to play. God is always with us. God is the ultimate DNA gatekeeper because God is the one who really allows life to even come. Because we as women, of course, we have our parts to play. But life doesn't come into fruition without God anyway. So God is the gate before our gate anyway. God is the gatekeeper before our gatekeeper because God allows life to come through. So yes, God is the ultimate gatekeeper, but that doesn't mean we don't have our role to play. We do. Women have a role to play. So when we step into this identity, I want us to step into the identity and really embody this identity. This takes a bit of work where we need to build up internal structures to have boundaries, to have values, to have a purpose in life. These things allow us to be DNA gatekeepers because we know that we're not just going to open our gate because we have a purpose in life. We're not just going to open our gate because there's something God wants to do with us. We're not just going to open our gate because we know that the next generation needs us to show up as the best, create the best scenario, create the best environment to allow the DNA to be better than us. That's our role as women. Can the next generation after us be better than the one currently and the one before? I think sometimes previous generations didn't really focus on this aspect of life. They were so focused on, let me just ensure that the family stay together. Let me just ensure the family stay together. And they neglect the betterment of humanity. I've observed that many generations have done this. And I know that it's with the best intent. It's with the best intent. But truly sometimes you have to do what's best for humanity. And that's what God wants. God wants the perpetuation of humanity to improve before he comes. So we need to do our role. We need to be DNA gatekeepers. We need to do the best we can in this life. Women are so powerful. Women have been given a role. Women have been given a purpose to be DNA gatekeepers. If you're watching this video right now, you know that you have power within your womb to create life. Don't take it for granted. Don't overlook it. Don't undermine it. It is the most powerful thing ever. It's only been given to one gender for a reason, and that gender is you. You are the feminine. You are the female. You are the woman. So step into that DNA gatekeeping woman. Step in. Be her. Remember her. Remember that you have always been a DNA gatekeeping woman. Remember that you want the best for future generations. Remember that you are the one. The one who changes her lineage. The one who decides that she is going to do the work to become the DNA gatekeeper. Because it's not easy. It's not easy to stand at the gate with God and hold back on the forces that come through in life, always trying to get through that gate to corrupt the generations to come. Why do you think that the Satan went straight to Eve in the Garden of Eden? Once you get the woman, you get all the generations after. It's a fight to be the DNA gatekeeper with God. It's a fight. Don't think it's going to be too easy. But it starts with identifying that this is the woman I want to be. I want to be a DNA gatekeeper. I actually want to ensure the next generations have the best possible resources in this world. I want this for my future generations. I want this. It takes guts. It takes some balls. You're going to have to really stand toes down to step into this identity with God. A lot of the time, we go through things because this is training to get to the person who can be the DNA gatekeeper. We're all born with this, but sometimes we forget and we have to remember. So remembering comes with encountering experiences that cause you to remember who you are, what you're here for, why your soul is on this planet in this moment. Even watching this video right now, you're remembering that you have a part to play, you have a role to play with God. To stand at the gate of the womb, ensuring that the DNA that passes on through you is the best, is the highest, is the most potent. You know what's funny about DNA? DNA is really, like, people think that there's so many studies about DNA. There's junk DNA, and people are realizing it's not junk DNA. It's downregulated DNA. So basically, at time of conception, at the time where the sperm meets the egg, the DNA in the man and the DNA in the woman, what's been upregulated and downregulated is what passes on to the next generation. So it's your role to ensure that the person you allow into your gate, obviously you want to make sure that you call on God before you allow anyone in your gate, but the person you allow in your gate, hopefully God has co-signed that, the person that gets in is somebody who their genetic genome at the time of conception is the highest, so that the next generation can have the highest genetic code. This is quite a triggering, actually, because a lot of people are not going to like this. But at the end of the day, it still lies with God at the end. If a child's going to come through, they're going to come through. But we have to still do our part to ensure that the DNA is the best it can be. If a man has not worked on himself, if a woman has not worked on himself, even you, if a woman has not worked on herself and a man has not worked on himself, there'll be certain genetics that are upregulated and downregulated. If a man is angry, he's got certain genes that are upregulated to do with anger. He's passing that on. If he hasn't done his inner work and he still isn't aware of himself and hasn't, like, if you haven't done your inner work, because DNA is two people which create a new DNA. So this is you and it's the man. So when you step into the DNA gatekeeping role, you have to do your own work first to make sure you're passing on the best DNA that comes from you, because you're now in an upregulated space in that moment of conception where the right DNA is going to pass on. Because you want to upregulate DNA within your being in that moment so that when you pass it on, you pass on the right DNA. And then you want the man to have the best DNA upregulated in that moment, because our environment upregulates and downregulates certain DNA. So if your DNA, based on your environment, is being downregulated, some aspects that are good are being downregulated because of your environment, you first need to go and fix that. Strengthen your DNA gatekeeping by actually being the woman who has the best DNA to pass on. Then you can see with your eye, with your strengthened eye as this DNA gatekeeping woman, who can actually also have good DNA and pass that on to bring the best DNA into the next generation. So we have our part to play. 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 Let's not forget it. We do forget this. I forgot this. I forgot that I had a part to play in this role, in this co-creation here. When I had my child outside of wedlock, I literally forgot myself. I was out here having fun, thinking this is fun. It's not fun. DNA, not being this person, not stepping into this woman, it brings pain, it brings hurt. it doesn't just bring pain to you, it brings pain to the generations after you. It brings pain to the people around you because you hadn't become this woman. And because you hadn't become this woman, there's like, God has to allow things to happen for you to become the woman that he can now use. The vessel, the vehicle, the one who God can now use to perpetuate the best generations forward. Do you want to be the woman that God chooses to bring forth the next prophets, to bring forth the next people that are going to impact the generations to come, that are going to be the ones who stand in the trying times of the future? You need to become the vessel, become the DNA gatekeeper. It doesn't. This is built. We're born with this identity, but it's a process of remembering that gets us back here. This is my journey of remembering. Having my child outside of wedlock, going through all the things I've gone through in my life, going through certain experiences and relationships that have built me up to be this woman who now can be the vessel that God can use for the next generation. This is how it works. So when you step in to the woman, God now uses you. God is always there though, but he allows things to be so that you can be the one who allows the next generations to come. So be the one. You're going to be the one. I believe in you. If you're watching this video and you're watching it till this moment, you are the one. You're the one God has chosen to be the DNA gatekeeper, to be the generation perpetuator, to be the one who is going to bring forth the next brilliant generations. Because with the way the world is going, the world is going to start dividing. The people who are very bad need to start procreating together, and the people who are good, we need to start building this side up. The righteous, the holy, the people who are working with God, we need to start separating from the people in the dark. But we must still shine our light into the darkness, but we can't keep mixing with the dark too much. We shine our light there, and we hope that it transforms them. Through God being within us, we shine our light. We do our best. But you don't want to get too tangled in with people of darkness because they will drag you down. Sometimes it's part of the journey and you have to rise yourself back up and become the woman. But once you're the woman, you shine your light and you embody the person who inspires others to change. You can't actually change people. You need to inspire them to change through becoming the one. Becoming the DNA gatekeeper, becoming the one who's going to go ahead and bring life through. This life we're living, it's full of trials, it's full of tribulations, it's full of obstacles we need to overcome. Be the one who comes out on the other side as the warrior gatekeeper, the warrior one. This is me right now, I'm going to be honest. I'm telling my own story because I was the woman who I could not say no. I could not, for the life of me, have boundaries. Like, I tried my best. I had such high people-pleasing tendencies. Like, this was passed down from my parents, where I had such high people-pleasing tendencies that I couldn't even say no to men. I struggled so much with saying no, and I don't know why. I wanted to be pleased, I wanted to be accepted, I wanted to be liked. And that's what got me here, to where I was, where I end up having a child outside of wedlock, and all these things. I end up in a relationship that had abuse in it. And that was to teach me to become the woman, because I wasn't yet the woman. I didn't understand my role as a woman, which is your womb, you're here to protect. Obviously, God allowed my child to come forth, and he is a promised child. He is the child that God is going to use to do wonders. But now that I have co-created with God, we have a new path we're on. With my child, we're going to the moon. And I want this for every woman. I want every woman to step into their power, step into their DNA gatekeeping, remember their worth, remember their identity, remember who they are. Remember who God has chosen them to be. You are the woman who gets to heal the generations after you. You are the woman who gets to improve the generations to come. Every single person has their role to play. Let's not think, oh, someone else will do this. No, it's you. Everybody has the role to play. Everybody must do their part to be the DNA gatekeeper, to be the one. So are you going to be the DNA gatekeeper? Are you going to be the one who has a gate and remembers she has a gate? Remembers that she has a DNA gatekeeper? Remembers that generations after her are dependent on her choices. Your choices, future generations are relying on them. That means that you have a lot of power right now. You have a lot of responsibility right now. This is also what I did not realize. I was so going through the motions. I was literally on autopilot until I had my child, and I woke up and I was like, whoa, I actually need to take control of my own life. Yeah. I forgot, like I was so on autopilot. I was basically alive, but I was sleeping. If you're watching this video, you're definitely awake. You are not sleeping anymore. You remember your role as a DNA gatekeeper. I don't know if any experiences have happened to you that have caused you to wake up. Sometimes we have to have things happen to us for us to wake up. Sometimes we're not always born awake, but this is why we need to ensure that we are becoming the one and matching with people who are also the one, so that we can actually birth kids who are already awake. It's possible to birth children who are already awake. Of course, we all have to go through our journeys in life where we awaken. But with the way the world is going, with the way the awakening is happening in the world, soon, we're going to birth children who are already awake, who don't need to go through things to be awake. They're going to already have the consciousness of being awake, and that is special. They're not gonna have to do as much work as we had to overcome so much to awaken, to change, because we're gonna have done the work so they don't have to. That's what Generations is all about. We did the work. We went through what we went through so that the future generations don't have to do it. That's how it goes. And I think a lot of generations forgot that they went through so much so that the next generation don't have to go through it. They went through so much and they just expect the next generation to continue to go through it. No. You went through it so that someone else doesn't have to, so that your daughter doesn't have to, so that your son doesn't have to. You went through it. Be happy and take peace that you were the one. You were the chosen one. God has chosen you to go through something, to come out the other side, so that you can now help others. Even me doing this video today, if I didn't go through everything I went through, having my child outside of wedlock, going through in a relationship that had abuse, I would not be here, sitting here talking to you right now about how you need to step into the woman with God, who can best bring forth the next generations. I would not know. I wouldn't know. So sometimes these things happen so you can become the one. So I empower you today to become the one. What we're going to do now is we're going to do a meditation. We're going to step into the woman who is the one, the woman who is the DNA gatekeeper, the woman who remembers her purpose, her plan, what God's plan for her, her divine permission, her divine mission on this planet. We are waking up. We are remembering who we are. Remember who you are today. So we're going to do a meditation now where we step in to the woman who is the DNA gatekeeper. So I want you to sit down, get comfortable, rest your back. I'm going to rest my back on the sofas and step in. Okay. You're going to close your eyes and start breathing deeply. You're going to breathe in and hold it, and breathe out. Continue to breathe in. You hold it and breathe out. Relax your feet. Relax your legs. Relax your stomach, your abs. Relax your chest. Relax your shoulders. Relax your back, your hands and your arms. Relax your face, your head, your whole body. Relax yourself in this moment. Now we're going to step into and feel our womb. Put your attention in your sacral chakra, your womb area. We're connecting to the ancestors before us and the ones who are going to come. Let's step into the womb. How does she feel right now, your womb? What is she saying to you right now? Is she feeling tight? Relax her. Is she feeling under stress? Let her know it's okay for her to relax. It's okay for her to rest, be safe in this moment. Your womb is safe and sound with you right now. Let us take this time now to remember that our womb holds power, that our womb holds information from generations before us, that our womb is the portal, it is the gate. It is the place through which generations are born. Life is born. Life force energy comes forth. New beginnings, spring, birth comes from your womb. In this moment, we remember what you as a woman on this planet are here to do. You are here to bring forth life. You are here to raise the collective consciousness of each person around you. You are here to raise the collective consciousness of the people coming after you. Your children, your children's children, and even those around you right now who are not related to you but are connected to you because we are all one. We are all one. We all came from a womb, so we are all one. So in this moment, I want you to remember who you are, who God has set you out to be, who you are in this moment. You are the woman who holds the womb. You are a DNA gatekeeper. You hold the power. You hold the power. It's in that womb. Feel the power that comes from that womb space. It brings forth life. It brings forth new beginnings. It brings forth the power to do amazing things. God has given you that power. Let's step in. Let's remember. Let's hold space for the power that is, the power that has always been, the power of the womb. Now that we've remembered that we have a womb that holds so much power that we need to protect, that we need to guard, be the DNA gatekeeper with God, we are now going to establish the gate. Feel your womb right now. Feel the passage from your womb to the outside world, the vaginal passage. Feel that area of you. At the end of that passage, the bridge between the internal and the external, the portal between the spiritual and the physical. There is a gate. We didn't always remember that there was a gate here. We didn't always remember that there was a portal here. We didn't always know that there was something here we needed to guard. But we remember that there is a gate here. What does your gate look like? The gate that stands between your internal world and your external world. In that passage, that vaginal passage there. What does your gate look like? How does it look? How does she feel? What color is that gate? Is it pink? Is it black? Is it red? Is it decked in diamonds? Is it covered in rubies? Is it sparkling? Is it iridescent? Is it bold? Is it powerful? Is it standing strong and tall, wide, deep? Establish your DNA gate. Remember that you've always had one. Remember that it was your role, your purpose, your mission, your responsibility to have a gate, to hold it, and to be the gate. You don't just have a gate, you are the gate. You are the gate through which lives are born, through which generations are born, through which everything that comes after you, even creative projects, everything is born through your womb gate. You have a womb gate, you have a DNA gate, but you are also the gate itself. I am the gate. Say that in your mind. I am the gate. See your gate in front of you. Feel her. What does she feel like? Step into that gate. Okay, now we have our gate. We've established our gate. Now we're going to ask God to bless that gate. The gate between the inner world and the outer world. The gate that opens up into the vaginal passage that comes to the womb that holds all the power that brings forth life. God is now blessing your gate. That gate is now being covered with light. The light from God is covering that gate. However you establish that gate, tall, wide, colorful, decked out in rubies, diamonds, gold. It's now being shone with light. Light is now covering that gate. It's now being drenched in the light from God. Hold the gate. Now that we have our gate decked in light from God, decked in diamonds, decked in gold, rubies, however your gate is, whatever your gate looks like, whatever that beautiful gate between the internal and the external world, whatever it looks like, now we will establish our DNA Gatekeeper. We remember that this is something that is a co-creation with God. God has already always been here, standing as a DNA Gatekeeper for you, for your gate that you've now established and remembered. Now you step in and take in your responsibility, your role as co-creator, DNA Gatekeeper with God. You step in to this power that you have. You stand at the gate, that gate covered in diamonds, that gate covered in rubies, that gate which is drenched in gold and drenched in light. You stand at the womb, at the beginning. You stand at the womb, at the gate, at the portal. You stand there with God. What does your DNA Gatekeeper look like? How does she dress? How does she be? What does she say? How does she walk through each day of life? How does she show up? What are her boundaries? What is she not available for? What does she always say no to because she knows that can't get into her gate? What does she no longer allow to come through her gate because she understands her responsibility? What is she now doing that is no longer what she used to do before? What is she now doing as a DNA gatekeeper that she did not know she was able to do, but now she knows she can step into and now do with God by her side, co-creating this role of DNA gatekeeper together? Let's remember that we are not alone. God is always with us. God is always holding us, being with us. As we step into the role of I'm a DNA gatekeeper, as we step into the identity of the DNA gatekeeping woman, we remember that this is something that God is holding our hand with. We are not alone. So we can surrender, though we stand in that power at the gate, protecting that gate. We know that we are not protecting that gate alone. That gate is truly being protected by God. That is the ultimate DNA gatekeeper, who is God. That is God. God is the ultimate DNA gatekeeper for your gate. For your beautiful gate that is decked out in diamonds, rubies, gold, and covered in light. God is standing at the gate, and now so are you. Let's just take a moment to appreciate the gate that we now have established, the remembering that we have now come into, remembering our role, our responsibility, our duty as women, to be the DNA gatekeepers that ensure that the next generations are who exactly they are meant to be. They are stepping in to and coming forth from the gate that was protected by God, protected by you, protected by your generations as well. Because remember that we are DNA. We ourselves are DNA, and we came from somewhere. Our ancestors, they came before us. They are also protecting us. They went through things so that we don't have to. They jumped through hoops. They killed lions. They did everything for you to be here, so that you can have a gate, so that you can be a DNA gatekeeper with God, so that you can ensure the next generation is better than the ones before and the ones now. So we give thanks to God. We give thanks to the generations before us. We give thanks to ourselves for stepping in. Now we're stepping into gratitude. We thank our womb for all the lessons that we've learned. We thank our gate for how it's now going to protect us, for how we're remembering that we need to look after our gate. We thank our DNA gatekeeper that we have now established. We thank God, the ultimate DNA gatekeeper, who will always protect us no matter what. And we thank our ancestors for how they stood at the gate for us, so that we can now be here today. Thank you, God. Thank you, generations. Thank you, womb passage. Thank you, gate, DNA gate. Thank you, DNA gatekeeper. Thank you. Now I want us to come back into the present moment. Feeling our breath, feeling our body. Thanking our womb, thanking our gate, thanking our DNA gatekeeper who will now always stand with us. God and our new DNA gatekeeper who is right by our side. Right by that beautiful gate, covered in diamonds, decked in gold, shimmering in light. Standing and ensuring the next generation will always be the best to come and will always be the higher, more conscious generation coming forth from you, from your gate. Thank you. And now let's step back into the present moment. And remember that we're stepping into the identity of the DNA gatekeeper. And that is it. How are you feeling after that meditation? Thank you for taking part in that. You taking part of that has done so much for you, your generations, and the generations to come. You now have a DNA gatekeeper. You now have a DNA gate. You have stepped into the identity of the DNA gatekeeping woman. The woman who has decided that she will be the one, the vessel, the vehicle that God will now use to bring forth prophets, to bring forth giants, to bring forth the ones who will change the world, because you have gone forth and now you are now changing the world. Thank you. Thank yourself in this moment, because you have done the work. If you've stayed to the end of this video, you have absolutely done the work. You are the vessel. You are the DNA gatekeeper. Comment down below, I am now a DNA gatekeeping woman. I am a DNA gatekeeper. You're stepping in. You are that woman. Feel it. You are the woman. Remember that gate that you just built and that DNA gatekeeper. As you go about your day now, as you step into the world around you, remember you have a gate there that has been guarded by you and by God. Remember that God has to co-sign whoever enters your gate now. Whoever passes on generations, passes on DNA from you. We appreciate, we love, we adore this power that we are stepping into in this moment. Comment down below what you think about this video. Comment down below the lessons, the takeaways from this video. If you have any questions about this concept of DNA gatekeeping, comment them down below. I want to hear from you. I want to be making this a series where I talk more about DNA gatekeeping. I talk about the different aspects of it. This is just an entry video where I'm explaining the concept that we're stepping into. I can't wait to hear from you guys. As always, follow your purpose, be a light in this world. And I'm sending you lots of love and peace.